Last week, we took an in-depth look at the fundamentals of breathing and spine stabilization. And this week and the following week, we will take an in-depth look at joint mobility, specifically regarding our shoulders and hips. You can refer back to the videos that I did previously on joint articulation, but here we're going to look at it again. So, learning to properly articulate our joints from a stable spine, and then also improving our range of motion in these joints in specific directions. So here I am standing, supported with this post next to me, articulating my shoulder, going through its full range of motion, extending, rotating, and coming around, up into flexion, and back, just like we've done before. This is extremely important for maintaining healthy joints and healthy movement patterns throughout our life. So here I am sitting, maintaining a stable spine, just like I covered in the continuity of shape video. So we can take this stable spine shape, this neutral spine, into various different positions, and maintaining stability, we can then isolate specific joints and work through their range of motion. Learn how to articulate them without compensations and without involving other parts of our body unnecessarily. So here's kneeling. This is a really good one to work from. You saw how when I was sitting, I didn't have my other hand somewhere else to support me, but now I've got the bench next to me, and I'm in a more challenging shape, so I'm having to be more focused on staying stable. Yet I can still isolate my shoulder. I can still articulate this one joint on its own without sacrificing stability. Very nice. I encourage everyone to try different positions and notice the differences that you experience. So lying down is my favorite personally because most of my body is being supported by the floor here. I still have to maintain stability, of course, because my spine will just dunk down into the floor. But now there are less variables that I have to account for. And so I can really have my attention focused on the joint that I'm working with. And as a consequence of that, you're able to access even more of your range of motion because more of your faculties are being applied. And so this is a good one to really spend some time with. So those are different varieties of ways that we can spend time articulating our joint. And now I'm going to demonstrate different methods of extending range of motion in specific directions. So I'm going to start out with abduction, that is away from midline of body. And notice I retracted my scapula to remind us that we're trying to keep our scapula protracted in this wide position away from our spine, taking up the slack in our system. So now we're really challenging our range of motion. Instead of compromising this range by being short at our scapula, making it easier to move or appear to move further, but with our scapula wide and long, now our shoulders are really being challenged. So with each exhale, I'm relaxing the tension, allowing me to move just a little bit further, and inhales continuing to breathe into this posterior rib cage, opening up space to allow me to again exhale and move a little bit further. It'll be minimal each time, but with each breath you should be able to access a little bit more range. So now I'm going to do flexion, that is overhead shoulder position, a really important one for daily life. Anytime we reach, we have the tendency to just extend our spine, but our shoulders can do that for us. So we can save our spine. Now you can see I'm fairly limited. I have a lot of tightness built up. But even so, I can exhale and reach a little bit more each time. And then not closing off the space in my back. Still able to breathe here. And exhaling, relaxing tension to reach a little bit further. Yes, the most important thing is not closing off our back, preventing us from being able to breathe back here. That's where we build up so much tension. So breathing there helps us stay open and continue to open further. So now extension, I'm internally rotated at the shoulder instead of externally rotated like I was when I was working on flexion. And same thing, keeping the back open, opening up my front side further in this pose without sacrificing the space of my back. Inhaling into posterior rib cage, opening up space, exhaling, relaxing tension, allowing me to reach a little bit further, even if it's just slightly. Even if it's not noticeable, just the thought of reaching further is sufficient oftentimes. We're getting our body, our joints, used to being at this end range, staying there, maintaining stability, getting familiar with it. You can spend a lot of time here. But your muscles will fatigue because this is very strenuous being at end range. So now I'm going to do rotation of the joint. This is extremely important for joint health. Going into internal rotation first. Not shrugging my shoulders, not twisting my spine in order to feel like I'm reaching further in this range. And I can exhale and rotate more. So we're feeling the tension that's restricting us, and that's what we're releasing as we exhale. And then I'm inhaling into my posterior rib cage in order to pressurize my canister, expand the space in this rib cage, allowing me to move further as I exhale. So now external rotation, not pulling my scapula back, not twisting my spine in any way, rotating the shoulder individually. So why is rotation important to develop? Well, that's how we generate force. Rotation is torque. Think of a car's wheels translating power to the ground. If you can't maintain stable shoulders as you rotate, then our spine takes on that load. So let's spare our spines. See you next week.